guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I went ahead and filmed a little sewing tutorial for this cute bandana bandeau top. So I have a lot of bandanas at home, and since we're all kind of stuck at home, I thought it would be kind of cool if I put up a sewing tutorial so that y'all, if you guys have a sewing machine at home, you can go ahead and follow it and make this cute top. I honestly tried to make it as simple as possible just because I know sewing can be a little bit confusing. It's my first time, so honestly bear with me and I hope you understand it. And if you have any questions, honestly just DM me on Instagram and I'm happy to answer them for you. And just to let you know, this top will be for sale on guttergirl.com. I'm going to link it right here for you guys, so go ahead and check out my website. Actually really happy with how it turned out. I love this color. It's like super bright and it's perfect for some like overalls. I love it. I love how it turned out. I'm going to go ahead and take you guys all to the tutorial. So the first thing you're going to do is grab a bandana and fold it in half, hamburger style. So the folded edge, you should have one folded edge and the rest of them should be open. You're going to grab your cutting tool, some scissors, or in my case a rotary cutter, and you're going to cut from each edge that is not the folded edge. So you're going to cut 3 edges, and I went ahead and cut about 2¼ inches so from each side. So that left me with the three cut edges that are going to be the straps and a big square of fabric that is going to be for the titties part of our bandeau. So at this point, you want to lay your pieces out to make sure you have all the pieces cut out correctly. And once you do that, you're going to grab the 3 side pieces that you cut and put them to the side because we're going to be working on the bigger square. And as you can see, mine already has lines folded in it because of the way the bandana was folded. If yours does not, go ahead and cut 4 equal parts like so. Once you do that, you're going to grab 2 of the pieces and stack them on top of each other, right sides together, which basically means that the right side of this fabric is the bright yellow part. So you're gonna put 2 pieces on top of each other with the bright yellow sides facing each other. And this is also how you're gonna sew these pieces together. So when you do this, you should have 2 titty pieces ready to sew. So once you get to the sewing part, you're going to sew 3 lines, 2 on the side and 1 on the top, and they all should be straight lines with a 5/8 seam allowance. And I am using white thread for this project, and if you don't know the measurements, they should be on your nameplate on your machine. Now, I went ahead and sewed all the sides together, 3 of the sides, as you can see, and the bottom is actually still open. And this is very important that you have 3 sewed sides and 1 open bottom. So go ahead and cut your loose threads. So now you're going to cut a small diagonal line on both of the top corners of the titty pieces so that when you fold your fabric inside out, you can have nice clean corners without the bulk of the extra fabric. And you're going to do that on both titty pieces. Now you're going to open up your seam allowances and you're going to iron them, press them so that they can be nice and straight and clean. This is a very important step. You don't necessarily have to do it if you don't have an iron, but it's just going to help your squares look a lot more like a clean square and not super raggedy. Now, I went ahead and finished my seam allowances with a serger. You don't have to do this step. I just do it to add that extra strength. But if you don't have a serger, you can do a zigzag stitch on a regular machine, or you can just do none of this and skip that part. But on a regular machine, it looks like that. It would be just a regular zigzag stitch, and that can be in place of a serger. Now, you should at this point have two titty pieces with serge seam allowances, and you're gonna go ahead and flip them inside out, so the right side of the fabric should be facing outwards. If you have a point turner, you can go ahead and use it to straighten out your corners and get them really like sharp. If you don't have that, another thing you can use is a chopstick, but basically all you're trying to do is push out the corners because they are going to be a little bit difficult to push out. But once you go ahead and do that, as you can see with the right titty piece, it's going to look like a nice rectangle or square, depending on how you cut your fabric. So you're going to do this with both pieces, and then you're going to go ahead and just iron them so that you can straighten them out even more and just create straight lines. Once you're done with that, it should look like this. Just have a nice, clean rectangle slash square with straight pointy corners. So at this point, we still have an open bottom edge that we need to close off. So go ahead and sew a straight stitch on that. I went ahead and serged it instead, but you're going to take that straight stitch that you sewed and fold it up about 1/4 of an inch. Press it if you can, and then sew a top stitch line over that about 1/4 of an inch as well, so that on the right side, when you flip it over, it can just look like a straight line at the bottom edge. Right, and so at this point, you should have done that. And I didn't really get a chance to record me sewing this part, but what you're gonna do basically is create tunnels so that you can loop your straps into them. So what you're going to need to do is have two straight lines at the top of the garment. As you can see here, I sewed them about 1/2 an inch apart. And you're going to have to leave your thread tails as well. And at the bottom of the garment, at the bottom of a garment, it's gonna look like you have 3 straight lines just because you top stitched the bottom edge shut. But on top of that, you should have also 2 parallel lines so that you can have tunnels for your bottom strap as well. And like I said, I did these about 1/2 an inch apart. It depends on how thick your strap is. If you want a thinner strap, you don't have to make them 1/2 an inch apart. You can make them less. But likewise, if you want a thicker strap, you have to make them bigger. So this really is based on how you want to make your top. But like I said, it's important that you have 2 parallel lines both on the top of the garment and at the bottom of the garment so that you can put your straps in. And you're going to do this on both titty pieces. So at this point, you're going to put your 2 titty pieces to the side because we're going to be working on the straps. And for the straps, you should have 2 longer pieces and 2 shorter pieces. You're going to take one of the longer pieces and one of the shorter pieces, and you're going to sew them together, right sides together, one straight line down the edge with a 5/8 seam allowance, so that after you do this, you can have one long strand. And you're gonna do this with all 4 pieces, so at the end of it, you should have 2 long strands. And I went ahead and pressed my seam allowance open because I think this is gonna help with the future steps. So after you do that, you're gonna take one strap and you're going to fold it in half. And the right side of the fabric, the bright yellow part, should be on the inside of your fold, and the wrong side of the fabric should be on the outside. So when you fold it in half shut, you're going to be sewing along the open edge with a 5/8 seam as well, and I went ahead and serged mine as well. But like I said, if you don't have a serger, you can use a zigzag stitch or you can just skip the serging step. At this point, you should have two straps, but they're going to be facing the wrong way. So you're going to have to turn them inside out so that you can have a nice clean strap with the right side facing out. So for this step, I used a tool that helps me loop it. But if you don't have this tool, you can use a safety pin. I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube on how to turn a loop with a safety pin. So I would say go ahead and watch that. And if you have this tool, I'll link it below. You can use it, and it honestly is definitely worth the money because I use it on almost every project. But when you do this, it is a little tricky even with the tool. You kind of just have to pull it through gently so that you don't rip the fabric. So with this step, I would say just be very patient and be very gentle because you don't want to rip your strap at this point in the project after you put in so much work, only so you have to create a new strap or find new fabric, because I use absolutely all the fabric on the bandana, so I have no extra fabric. So with this step, it is very important to just be very gentle and patient, and you will turn the loop. And once you do, it looks so beautiful. You don't see a seam, and that's your strap. And you're going to go ahead and do this with both straps. Okay, so once you do that, you should have two long straps and two titty pieces. So you're going to lay those out, and they look beautiful at this point. And the next step is to open your tunnels so that you can put the straps on your titty pieces. So what you're going to do is with your tunnels, the two parallel lines, you're going to grab a seam ripper or some small scissors and be very, very careful and open up the side seam only between the two lines you sewn, and that's going to be the opening for your strap. So you're going to do that on all of the openings. So you're going to do that 4 times on each titty piece. After you do that, you're going to have to loop the straps through the tunnels, and I used the same tool I used for turning the straps inside out. But like I said, if you don't have that tool, you can use a safety pin and just clip it on the end of your strap and push it through the tunnels. And like I said, this step is a little bit tedious. It does take a little bit of time, and you do have to be gentle. And as you can see in the video, I kind of had a hard time, so I was like tugging and pulling, but at the same time being very gentle because, like I said, this fabric and this project is delicate. So look at this, the finished product. I went ahead and looped both the top and the bottom through the tunnels using the straps we made, and it looks beautiful, super fucking fire. I'm super proud of it, and I'm excited to wear it out. Thank you all, and I hope you like this tutorial. I hope you guys make these cute ass tops. If you do, tag me on Instagram. I would love to see them, and I'll repost them on my Instagram. Like, comment, subscribe on my channel. Check out guttergirl.com, and my Instagram is also guttergirl. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.